of Global South Summit is being held in virtual mode tomorrow. We have shared with you the themes of various sessions planned during the summit. The inaugural session, led by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, will commence at 10 o'clock in the morning. This would be followed by 4 parallel ministerial sessions beginning at 12:30 p.m. These will include the sessions by ministers of Foreign Minister, EM, Education, Finance and Environment. In the afternoon, 4 more parallel ministerial sessions are scheduled. These will begin at 4 p.m. These will include the sessions, again by EM, as by the Ministers of Energy, Health and Commerce. And finally, there will be a leader session again, a concluding session at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow evening. Opening segments of each of these sessions will be live streamed. That is the intervention by the Indian participants, Prime Minister and the Indian ministers. And please follow us on our social media updates to exact live stream links we will share with you. And we'll try to bring you more updates once the event concludes. Okay, along with that, may I open the floor for questions? I saw your hand first, Siddhant. I will answer.
So Siddhant from Vienna. So the question on the Indian nationals in Qatar, any update? Have we got consular access? Any more details?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. I'll come back.
Sir, I'm Sahil from ENI. So IDF has entered the Gaza City Hospital of Al-Shifa. What's India's position on that?
On what? The hospital? Okay. Which one? I saw a hand here. Yeah, please.
सर मैं नीरज दुबे प्रभा साक्षी से सर म्यांमार में जिस तरह के हालात हैं बहुत सारे लोग मिजोरम में भाग के आए हैं अलग अलग रिपोर्टें हैं कि 2000 लोग भाग के आए हैं 5000 लोग भाग के आए हैं कुछ लोगों को हमने वापस भी किया है कोई एग्जैक्ट आंकड़ा है क्या और हमने क्या वहाँ की सरकार से बातचीत की है इस मुद्दे पर
Okay, behind. Yeah, please.
So, on the 20th, the India-Australia 2+2 is happening. Can you tell us a little more about it?
You are announcing it, right?
Well,
just checking. Okay.
If I am, then that's
Good.
not so
then,
bad.
Then you can answer this part 2 of it.
Can you tell us?
I'll try to see what I can tell you.
What is going to happen and
Yeah, sure.
what are the main issues under discussion?
Will do.
Vineet Dixit from Newsgate. So this is regarding the long-delayed agreement of free trade agreement with the United Kingdom.
Microphone closer, please.
United Kingdom.
UK FTA. Yeah.
UK FTA. What has been the progress? Did this subject came up during Dr. Jaishankar's visit to London, where he met Mr. Cameron?
Okay. Anything related to any of these? So I can take it in one shot rather than come back. Mizoram or Myanmar?
Myanmar.
Okay.
So this is Abhishek from CNN News 18, sir. There are reports that some of the soldiers from Myanmar side, they had entered Mizoram and then they were reportedly taken by Indian Air Force planes to the other side of the border from where they could go safely. I mean, is it true or what would you have to say on this?
Fair enough. Anyone else related to this? If not, let me take this round of question and then I'll come back to you. Let me start with, let me start with you on the 2+2. Look, it is. We do intend to host the 2+2 in the next edition of the 2+2. As you know, the inaugural edition was last year. But we haven't officially formally announced it yet. So if you permit, I'll wait for that. And then we'll be able to share a little more information on that. At this point, I don't have any update. But as I said, it is our turn to host it, and we would like to host it very soon. But till it's confirmed, let me not jump the gun. Let me go on to the case. I think you were asked about the FTA. Look, External Affairs Minister himself spoke about it, so I don't know what more I can add to that. Yes, he discussed this with the Prime Minister, UK Prime Minister. I think he also discussed with the newly sworn-in UK Foreign Secretary. There are discussions going on. EM spoke about bringing it to right landing spot. But if you want to know the exact status of negotiations, I would refer you to the trade negotiators. I don't think it's appropriate for us to comment on that. But yes, I think both sides are engaged on this important issue to see if we can find a solution or a final conclusion. As I said, that was a deadline you had put yourself or media has put. I remember discussing this last year with Diwali deadline. as I said, it's an important negotiation. These are substantive outcomes, and I think the UK side said it'll take as long as it takes. So I think we're engaged, and that is an important element of that. Sahil, your question was on specifically on Al Shifa Hospital. Look, this is not just okay. Let me reverse it. This is not about one specific facility. The issue is not about one facility or a specific facility. India has always underlined the need for civilian casualties to be avoided, for humanitarian law to be observed, and of course to encourage any efforts to provide humanitarian relief to those caught in the conflict. We have also, on a larger issue, talked about efforts to de-escalate the situation, deliver humanitarian assistance, our concern at the humanitarian increasing civilian toll. We had also talked about how India had sent, I think, 38 tons of humanitarian relief material. We are looking to send more assistance. We had also condemned strongly the horrific terrorist attack on October 7th and our zero tolerance for terrorism and the need for immediate and unconditional release of the hostages. So, yes, I would reiterate, as I said, our perspective on anything that can help the humanitarian assistance. On Qatar, I think, Siddhant, I answered this question at length, I think, last week. This is a sensitive case, and the case is currently in a legal process there. As we mentioned, an appeal has been filed in the Qatar's Court of Appeal. We are also, engaged with the Qatari authorities on the matter, and we will, of course, continue to extend all legal and consular assistance. And I would again urge everyone not to engage in speculation, considering, as I said, the sensitive nature of the case, as well as the fact that the judgment in the entire process has been made confidential by the Qatari side. Moving on to the issue developments in Myanmar, I think Neeraj ji, aapka prashn bhi tha, and Abhishek, you had asked one specific, where's Abhishek gone? In specific element of that, right? Look, on that, let me again break up the answers in a couple of parts. Let me just say, as a result of the fighting, I think it's called Rikhadwar area, is opposite Zokhwatar on the India-Myanmar border in Mizoram, in the Chin state of Myanmar. There has been movement of Myanmar nationals to the Indian side. We are deeply concerned with such incidents close to our border. Our position on the ongoing situation in Myanmar is very clear. We want cessation of the violence and resolution of the situation through constructive dialogue. We reiterate our call for return of peace, stability, and democracy in Myanmar. Since the current conflict started, I think it was in 2021 in Myanmar, a large number of Myanmar citizens have been taking refuge in India. Local authorities in the concerned neighboring states have been handling the situation appropriately on humanitarian grounds. We have also been facilitating the return of those who wish to go back to their country, to that country, that is Myanmar. And of course, for specific details about Myanmar nationals who have crossed over to India, I would have to refer you to the concerned authorities. नीरज जी, हिंदी में आपने पूछा था, अगर आप कोई स्पेसिफिक कोई आंकड़े जानना चाहते हैं, वो आपको स्पेशल अथॉरिटीज़ से पूछना पड़ेगा, पर हमारी तरफ से हमें मालूम है कि जब से ये अभी इस राउंड का, इस दौरे का कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जो चालू हुआ 2021 में, काफ़ी म्यांमार सिटीजन्स आ गए थे हमारे यहाँ, शरणार्थी आए थे, और हमारे जो वहाँ लोकल अथॉरिटीज़ हैं ह्यूमैनिटेरियन ग्राउंड्स पे जो भी असिस्टेंस दे सकते हैं दे रहे हैं, और जो वापस जाना चाहते हैं वो गए भी हैं, उनको भी असिस्ट कर रहे हैं। पर मैं एग्जैक्ट नंबर कह नहीं पाऊँगा, इसलिए लोकल अथॉरिटीज़ पे बात कर रही हैं। और मैंने जैसे अभी अभिषेक को कहा, हमारा जो रुख है या रवैया है इस प्रॉब्लम पे, कि हम चाहेंगे कि वहाँ पीस और स्टेबिलिटी वापस आए और डेमोक्रेसी और स्टेबिलिटी वहाँ रहे, और ये वायलेंस बंद हो और सिचुएशन का जल्दी से कोई सोल्यूशन निकले। तो और हम बिल्कुल ऐसे कोई डेवलपमेंट्स होते हैं तो हमारी इसमें काफ़ी कंसर्न रहता है। ऑफ कोर्स हमारे बॉर्डर के बगल में हो रहा है ऐसे डेवलपमेंट्स। ओके, हु एल्स हैड हैंड्स अप? I'll just come to you. Shashank, go ahead.
Shashank Matu with the Mint. So just a question on Myanmar. We've had, since 2021, according to UN estimates, $51 million in arms exports going to Myanmar. It's come in for some criticism from the resistance groups in Myanmar, especially the NUCC. What is India's position on supporting the SAC and the military government in Myanmar, particularly with military exports?
Okay. I saw your hand. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Microphone.
I am Rajiv from Malayalam Norma. I just wanted to ask about the Indian nurse who is sentenced to death in Yemen. Nimisha Priya. Now that the Yemeni Supreme Court has rejected her appeal and everything depends on the president on her granting the relief to her. So what is the steps MEA has taken as directed by the Delhi High Court? Just wanted to have the updates.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. I'll come to you. Yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
Elena TASS News Agency. Good afternoon. So Russia and India held this week Foreign Office consultations. As we know, we saw your tweet. We read.
I do hope you got to know of it other than my tweet, but anyway.
So detailed discussions took place.
Yes.
Can you please share maybe some more information? What were details in these discussions?
Okay.
And particularly, I wonder if the sides discussed high-level context, highest level context especially. So can we expect, what context can we expect in the closest future, especially between our leaders?
Okay.
Thank you.
There was a hand up somewhere else. Yeah, no, before that, I saw you once. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Hi, Shubhajyoti from the BBC. Election schedule has been announced in Bangladesh last evening, and the main opposition party over there rejected it almost immediately. Now, on the earlier occasions, we have seen India actively pursuing with all the political parties in Bangladesh so that they take part in the election and election becomes more inclusive. What will be India's position this time around?
Yeah, go ahead.
Rishabh from Times Now. So we have seen new Khalistan threats in Canada at the Vancouver event as well.
Threats, you said. Threats. Okay.
At the Vancouver event for the life certificate also we saw Khalistani activist terrorists actually going ahead and disturbing the event. And we have also seen attack on Indian community on the day of Diwali while they were near Brampton. How does India see this, and has India taken it up with the Canadian government?
Okay, I think there's some more hands. I'll come around another round maybe. Any related topic I am willing to take. Otherwise, I'll come back to you. Let me start with you, Rajiv, on the issue of the Indian national in Yemen. Look, as you know, we've been following this case, of course, and we are aware of the recent development that you alluded to. We are extending consular assistance. But since it's a legal issue, there as well as I think it gone to the, as you said, Delhi High Court, I would not like to comment on those steps, but certainly we are in touch. We are extending whatever consular assistance we can, but do understand that this is a legal process in their country too, and we'll see in whatever way we can continue with this process. On the issue of Foreign Office consultations that you mentioned, Eliana, this was, of course, they did take place, as you said, through our tweet, as we highlighted that. I don't have much to add, but let me just recap that we had this on the 13th of November. Both sides, of course, discussed a range of issues of mutual interest, including related to energy and defense cooperation. Both sides have engaged each other at various other levels also in order to take forward our special and privileged strategic partnership, and such exchanges will continue to further enhance the comprehensive bilateral ties. I don't have much else to announce other than what the two sides have already done. Foreign Office consultations are a useful mechanism to take stock of where we are and what more we can do. I certainly don't have anything to, any update on any highest level contact that you mentioned. Regarding Rishabh, you mentioned about developments in Canada. Look, I think you mentioned two different cases, quite separate. In fact, on the specific issue, as you mentioned, we have seen some misleading and inaccurate social media reports in this regard. You mentioned the one about a consular camp. Our High Commission and consulates in Canada regularly organize consular camps. One such camp was organized near Vancouver on November 12th or 13th to provide life certificate to pensioners. The event was held successfully despite attempts by a few radical elements to cause trouble. Our Consul General was not present at that site. We reiterate the need for nations to respect the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations so that our diplomats can discharge their diplomatic obligations. As regards event that you alluded to near Brampton or Mississauga in Diwali, look, I think that was more in the nature of an unrest between two groups. To be honest, I don't think there has been any complaint that our consulate has received. I saw some social media reports. We also understand that the authorities there are looking into that incident. So I don't have anything further to add to that. But certainly on the first incident was involving a consular camp, and I conveyed our position on that. Shubhajyoti, regarding your query, sorry, there you are. Election schedules. Look, I think we have been repeatedly highlighting our position on Bangladesh elections, as well as this is something that the Bangladesh people and have to decide for themselves. And I think we said this on occasions. I don't really have an immediate update on that. You are asked what is our position regarding the rejection of it. Look, again, I don't think it's appropriate for us to comment on that. It's up to the Bangladesh people and their democratic systems to work this out. I'm not sure in the past what we have done. I'm not sure I agree with what you said. However, I will leave it at that. Shashank, your question again was on Myanmar. I don't know how I would have slight disagreement with us propping up or supporting the SAC. I don't think that's objective at all. It's the government of Myanmar. We have engagement on cooperation with them, the neighboring country, on various issues. And I think whatever actions we take are in the light of overall, our interests and whatever else that guides our thing. We are certainly cognizant of our responsibilities, and we keep in mind all factors in it. You quoted some figures. I'm not going to be able to comment on that. If you specifically on that topic, if you would like more information, I would refer you to the relevant authorities. I don't think the MEA. But as I said, our position on developments in that country is something that's of concern, of course, and we have been engaged to try to see how we can have a peaceful situation there. Okay, let's take a last round of questions. Kalol.
Kalol from The Hindu. So coming back to Bangladesh once again, so you have repeated what the Foreign Secretary said last week about
Thank God.
About election being an internal issue for Bangladesh. But when we look at the news reports, we find various diplomats, especially of the Western countries, Ambassador Peter Haas of the United States to begin with, is reaching out to all political parties, rather in an unusually activist manner. And he's not the only one, and they are raising issues.
You did say the US ambassador, right?
Yes, I did, because he's in the news pages.
You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, but I'm just making that point that, with your position, you are very unexpectedly, located with China and Russia.
Sorry, Kalol, you got to make it tighter. This question is going nowhere.
Okay, fine. So
what's exactly your query?
Just in 2+2, you discussed...
2+2.
Yeah, in the 2+2 dialogue
with the US.
With the US, you discussed Bangladesh. And so it's really looking like as if you have a difference of opinion on Bangladesh with the United States. So I was thinking if you would clarify, because it's been written about in the Bangla press in Dhaka quite a lot, that there is apparent difference over Bangladesh and the election process between India and the United States.
And the Bangladesh position is not important. No, I mean, I even understand your question. Anyway, I'll answer what I can. I got you. I
hope you got it. Okay.
I'm not sure, but I'll try. Okay, I had a hand up here. Yeah. Yes, please.
Hello. I'm Takashi from the Japanese newspaper called Asahi Shimbun. My question is about the Voice of Global South Summit. Yes. So the simple question is the issue of Israel and Palestine will be also one of the topics during the summit, and does Indian government also have a willing to more engage with for the more dialogue and then cessation?
Sorry, repeat the last part. Indian government willing to do what?
Willing to do more support for the dialogue and then cessation. between.
You mean separate from the VOGSS, or separate from the Voice of Global South Summit, or generally?
Through Voice of Global Summit.
Okay, fair enough. Yes, yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Pia with the print. Just a clarification on the case of the 8 Navy veterans in Qatar. What is the status of the appeal? Has it been accepted, rejected? Are we still waiting for the Qatari court to provide a decision on this appeal? If you could just give a specific update on that. Thank you.
Okay. Before I take second round of questions, Yeshi, go ahead.
Yeshi Seli from the New Indian Express. There are 19 Indian schools in Qatar, and the Qatari Education Ministry for this ongoing calendar year dropped Diwali as a holiday. This has been done for the first time. Is MEA likely to take it up, or do you have any say in it at all?
Okay, and yeah, go ahead.
Runjun Sharma, RT. I want to ask about the Voice of the Global South Summit. How many participations are confirmed? How many countries?
Okay. And if there was nobody else, I'll give you the last one. Yeah, go ahead.
So it's last question. So one on cricket diplomacy.
Oh God.
So either India's BRICS partner or Quad partner will be in the finals. Any of the leaders expected to travel to India, because the South African president has expressed interest to travel to India to witness the match?
Okay, okay, let me try to answer these queries. Pia, let me start with your question, Richard. As I said, an appeal has been filed. I am not aware of any decision at all by the Court of Appeal in this regard, so I presume our appeal is there. Rather the appeal on behalf of the detainees is in the process. I had seen some reports that they have been adjudicated on, decided upon. I don't think that's factually correct. So yes, the appeal process is underway, and we would hope for a positive outcome. On the issue of Voice of Global South Summit, there were a couple of questions. Runjun, your query was how many? Look, we've had on a virtual summit, I don't want to comment. Even otherwise, I rarely comment on participation till people land up. But on a virtual summit, let me not prejudge how many will come. We have confirmations, a very large number of confirmations. We'll try to bring you a real good updated figure once they are actually there. But as you know, last time we had about 125 countries to participate. That's a good number to work around, and that's what I would start working around. But we've had good confirmation. So let's see till how many finally land up there. Takeshi, your query was regarding Israel-Palestine. As you would have seen in in the press release, if I probably have it here, yes. When we said that this would be an opportunity, tomorrow's summit, for sharing with the countries of the Global South the key outcomes achieved in various G20 meetings over the course of India's presidency. You would recall that during the first Voice of Global South Summit in January, this is one of the things that we did, part of what Prime Minister had said, reach out, hear the voices of the Global South and see how we can mainstream that, give them more attention and put them on the high tables. I think we have been able to do that, and I think this is a good opportunity to tell members of the Global South what has been really developments over our presidency. Of course, the challenges posed by global developments are also likely to be discussed. As I said, every country is free to discuss whatever or bring or say something what they feel bothers them. That's actually exactly the objective of such an exercise, is to hear from the countries directly rather than prejudge or prefix the objective. We have some session topics depending on, of course, education, finance, etc. But again, I am sure, like in all high-level interactions, each participant will share their own perspective, their own concerns, their own thoughts. And if the situation in Israel and Palestine does come up, anybody is free to do so. As regards whether we are encouraging dialogue, of course we are. As I said, we would like to see, and we welcomed efforts, a de-escalation, humanitarian assistance been going there, and we have also called for a two-state solution, as resumption of direct negotiations towards that, and of course as a long-term solution. So I think our position on that is very clear. But the objective of tomorrow, of course, is more of how to hear from countries of the Global South. Kalol, before that, Yeshi, look, yes, we have seen some reports on that. I will have to check. These schools operate under the local rules and regulations. I know in some cases our embassy has some role on the board, but they have to operate as per local rules. I'm not yet in a position to confirm whether we'll take it up or not, or whether action has been taken on this, or is this part of a regular internal decisions. If I have any update on this, we'll certainly come back to you. Kallol, as I said, I was a little confused about the various strands of your question. Our position on what is developing in Bangladesh has been articulated number of occasions. Thank you for confirming that I am in line with what my bosses have been saying. That's where we are. I think it's something for the people of Bangladesh to find out. Yes, it did come up in discussions, but so did many other topics with the US, as you mentioned, Foreign Secretary mentioned. I wouldn't be in a position to comment whether there is a difference of opinion. Our opinion, you know very well. We are a neighbor. We have a lot at stake, what happens in our neighborhood. I'm sure other countries will have their own relationships with Bangladesh. And I certainly don't know if that's the right word to use, a difference of opinion. I haven't, we had a conversation, and on the 2+2, I think Foreign Secretary has explained what happened. I don't want to add to that anything particular. So now the most difficult question is yours. Yes, we've seen some reports. As always, we are hosting it. Anybody who is coming here to watch it is welcome. But when you talk about a head of state, I don't want to go down the political side whether it's a visit, a formal visit. Yes, I like the term you used. Either a Quad partner or a BRICS partner will be there. It's nice. I of course hope we win, but that's a separate issue. If any of them come, they'll be welcome, and we will inform you at the right time. Thank you all for joining. Good evening.